So, Ken, did you have a mentor when you got started?
Yeah, I would probably have to say that both my fathers, my father and my father-in-law, were mentors to me. My father is a real estate attorney, and in my first-time homebuyer book, I do talk about my rich dad, poor dad experience. My rich dad was my father-in-law, or is my father-in-law, and he is someone who's built up a portfolio of real estate over the years, and through time and through leverage, and would put him in the wealthy category. My poor dad, which is my real dad, was a corporate real estate attorney, and I found that in watching what had gone over the years that he was pretty good at predicting markets, but got caught up in a cycle in the Anchorage, Alaska area where he had built up quite a portfolio of real estate and probably should have sold before the market turned. And he could have done that and then sold the properties there and 1031 exchanged them into other areas that were coming out of recession around the nation or that were real hot. But he didn't, and he got caught with a lot of properties. Ended up having to give a bunch of them back, and that kind of discouraged him from real estate investing, and never really kind of got back on his feet. But I always go back to that first home that he bought in San Mateo, California, for $17,000 in 1963. If he just held on to that one property, it would have been paid off 10 years ago, and he could have lived there. Nice little one-story home on Lexington Lane. He could have lived there, mortgage-free for the last years of his life, or that home now is worth $1 million. It was worth $1.2 million during the peak, but it's dropped 20%, but it's still worth $1 million free and clear. And so he would have been an accidental millionaire just from keeping that one house.
And it's such an important point that people understand that, no matter what's going on in the economy, it seems like real estate rights itself, and it isn't so much looking at what's going on immediately, but always looking long term to see what the bigger picture is.
Well, what kind of scares me is that a lot of people are not preparing for their ultimate retirement, and I tell people, I never plan on retiring, so to speak, because I like to work. But sometimes you're forced into it. Maybe a spouse or somebody, or even yourself, get into health issues or whatever. And I see very few people looking to paying off their current, or maybe that first home that they owned, keeping that first home and paying it off, and have a place to go back to or move into that's free and clear, without debt, when they're 75, 80. Like I said, what I call between the walker and the retirement home, and it's a bummer because a lot of the yuppies and the generation that we have now are not preparing for that inevitability when they don't want to or don't have to work anymore, and the biggest debt that they have is going to be when they retire is going to be their mortgage. So. Like I said, the just keeping one home can make your retirement comfortable, but buying and holding and paying off 10 homes can make you wealthy.
Well, we've seen this happen on a cycle, like every 7 to 10 years for, 40 years now?
Yeah, correct. And what happened on the latest cycle, it should have been a 7-year cycle where you have the boom and the bust, and then the equilibrium, and then a boom again. What happened was the easy, greasy mortgage money extended the boom for another 2.5 years further than it should have gone. So markets have a tendency to heat up, and then they have a tendency to overheat, and then everybody's buying. When I was doing my seminars in California in 2006, they're going, this market is crazy. Why would I want to invest in Texas? I said, because it's crazy is the reason why you need to sell your property now, because it's going up at 10% a quarter. It cannot sustain that type of growth. So take your money, take your equity now, and 1031 it to an area that is safer. And even though you may not be seeing booms in the other area, but you would preserve your capital. And 400 or 500 people did that, but 4,000 or 5,000 people should have done that with me.
Right.
Because it really the overheating was so obvious. You're selling houses in 24 hours, and and seeing the appreciation go through the roof. That's the time when the fire alarm should go off. And if you've got property that you need to be prepared that it's either going to turn the corner and drop, or take the equity and move it somewhere, sell it, move it somewhere where, or 1031 exchange it somewhere where it's a little safer. And a lot of people did. More people wish they had.